The summer of 2025 was expected to be a record-breaking travel season at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, with families, business travelers, and tourists all eager to take to the skies. Airlines had ramped up schedules and the airport was prepared for a surge in passengers, hoping to showcase its efficiency and hospitality. But instead of smooth operations, the airport was plunged into a season of chaos and uncertainty. Two major incidents involving Alaska Airlines, one a crippling IT outage that paralyzed check-in systems and flight operations, the other a sudden and alarming security threat, brought SeaTac to a complete standstill, leaving both staff and travelers in limbo. Flights were grounded for hours, terminals overflowed with stranded passengers, and thousands of travelers faced confusion, missed connections, and mounting frustration as information was slow to arrive. These back-to-back crises expose just how fragile and interconnected modern air travel has become, where a single point of failure can ripple across the entire system. Passengers slept on terminal floors, using their bags as makeshift pillows, while waiting for updates that seemed to never come. Airport staff scrambled to manage the fallout, fielding questions, handing out meal vouchers, and trying to keep tempers from boiling over. The entire airport ecosystem, from security to baggage handlers to airline crews, was pushed to its absolute limits, revealing vulnerabilities in even the most well-oiled operations. This report unpacks what happened during the Alaska Airlines IT outage in July, which left thousands stranded and forced the airline to cancel hundreds of flights, and the security scare aboard a Horizon Air flight in June, which triggered a massive emergency response and heightened anxiety among travelers. By examining the causes, the immediate responses, and the far-reaching consequences of these incidents, we reveal the immense pressures and challenges facing a major international airport in moments of crisis, and what it means for the future of air travel. On July 20, 2025, Alaska Airlines' digital infrastructure suffered a catastrophic failure that would ripple across the entire nation's air travel network. What began as a routine evening quickly escalated into one of the most disruptive events in the airline's history, catching both staff and passengers off guard. At 8 p.m., a critical hardware component failed, despite multiple redundancies, bringing the airline's entire system to a halt. The failure was so severe that backup systems designed to prevent such a scenario were unable to restore operations. Suddenly, every digital process, from ticketing to flight tracking, went dark. Alaska and its partner Horizon Air immediately ordered a system-wide ground stop, freezing all flights, with SeaTac at the epicenter. The decision was made within minutes, as it became clear that continuing operations without reliable data would be unsafe. Essential systems for flight planning, crew assignments, and safety checks were offline, making departures impossible. Pilots and crew waited anxiously in terminals, unable to receive updated instructions or schedules, while operations teams scrambled for solutions. Behind the scenes, crisis teams convened, working through the night to diagnose the root cause and coordinate a response. Communication lines buzzed as IT managers, engineers, and airline executives collaborated under immense pressure. The outage struck during one of the busiest travel periods, leaving terminals packed and passengers stranded with no information. Families, business travelers, and vacationers alike found themselves in limbo, their plans upended in an instant. Departure boards filled with delays and cancellations, turning the airport into a tense waiting room. The uncertainty grew with each passing minute, as travelers anxiously checked their phones and monitors for updates that never came. For 3 hours, technicians raced to fix the issue while staff faced mounting passenger frustration. Airline employees did their best to answer questions, but with systems down, information was scarce, and tempers flared. The incident was a stark reminder: even a single point of failure can paralyze an entire airline. It exposed vulnerabilities in even the most robust digital infrastructures, prompting urgent reviews of contingency plans. Tens of thousands of travel plans were thrown into disarray nationwide. The July IT outage would go down as a wake-up call for the industry, highlighting the critical importance of resilient technology in modern air travel. Lifting the ground stop at 11 p.m. didn't end the chaos. It only marked the beginning of a long and difficult recovery process for everyone involved. The airport, which had been filled with anxious energy and uncertainty, now buzzed with a different kind of tension as travelers scrambled to rebook flights and staff rushed to restore order. For airport staff and airline crews, the real work began the moment flights were cleared to resume. They faced the daunting task of helping thousands of stranded passengers, many of whom had already spent hours waiting for answers. and now needed new travel plans, food, and sometimes even a place to sleep. That night, Alaska Airlines canceled 45 flights and delayed over 200 more at SeaTac alone. The departure boards were a sea of red, with "canceled" and "delayed" flashing across nearly every screen, leaving travelers frustrated and confused about what would happen next. The disruption didn't end with the night. It rippled well into the next day, as dozens more flights were canceled or delayed. Crews and planes were scattered across the country, out of position, making it nearly impossible to get operations back on track quickly. Passengers faced another day of uncertainty, with limited hotel rooms near the airport and customer service lines that stretched for hours. Many travelers spent the night in terminals, trying to get updates or simply hoping for a way home. Alaska Airlines offered flexible rebooking options and refunds, but the sheer volume of affected travelers made recovery painfully slow. Even with extra staff and self-service kiosks, the backlog was overwhelming. Behind the scenes, airline operations teams worked around the clock, coordinating logistics and tracking flights in real time. The operational mess took days to untangle, highlighting just how difficult it is to reset after a system-wide failure. While the technical fix that ended the ground stop was relatively quick, restoring normal operations was a marathon effort. Every department, from IT to ground crews, had to work together to get things moving again. For everyone involved, passengers, airline staff, and airport workers, it was a costly and exhausting lesson in just how fragile tech-dependent air travel can be, and how quickly a single failure can bring the entire system to a standstill. In June, SeaTac faced a different crisis, this time a human threat. On June 14th, a Horizon Air flight to Walla Walla was taxiing when a passenger made a direct threat to a flight attendant. The crew acted fast, halting the plane and moving it to a secure, isolated runway. Emergency responders surrounded the aircraft, containing the threat without risking the wider airport. The FAA issued a ground stop and closed 2 runways, causing instant disruption across SeaTac. Passengers and crew endured a tense wait at the center of a major security operation. A single threat had escalated into a full-scale airport emergency. The airport's emergency protocol kicked in immediately. Port of Seattle Police and the FBI responded, securing the aircraft and negotiating with the suspect. After a tense standoff, officers boarded the plane and arrested the suspect without injury. All passengers and crew were safely evacuated and debriefed. The aircraft underwent a thorough security sweep before the airport could reopen. The incident caused at least 6 cancellations and 2 diversions, but the response was swift and effective. Local and federal agencies worked seamlessly to neutralize the threat and restore operations. The event proved SeaTac's emergency plans could handle real-world danger. Amid the chaos, some confusion arose over the term "shutdown." Neither the July IT outage nor the June security threat was related to a U.S. government shutdown. The shutdowns were operational, temporary halts to flights or runways for safety, not political or budgetary crises. The FAA's ground stops and Alaska's system-wide halt were standard emergency measures. Other airlines at SeaTac continued to operate, though some experienced delays due to congestion. Understanding this distinction is key. These were aviation-specific disruptions, not national government shutdowns. The term simply described a temporary, controlled pause in operations for safety and technical reasons. The twin crises at SeaTac in summer 2025 delivered hard lessons in resilience and safety. The June security scare showed the value of training and rapid, coordinated response. No one was harmed. The July IT outage exposed the vulnerability of even redundant technology and the need for stronger contingency plans. Both incidents underscored the importance of clear, timely communication with passengers during a crisis. Alaska Airlines and the industry are now re-examining emergency protocols, IT infrastructure, and customer service strategies. The summer ended not in disaster, but with a renewed focus on preparedness and safety. These events proved that readiness for the unexpected is essential in aviation. In the end, passenger safety remained the unwavering top priority.